I have a question for you before you quit. Are your thoughts and your imagination an investment? Or do you use them up just before you give up? Have you ever attempted to visualize your ending scene for an hour? What about 30 minutes? Where are you focusing from the moment you wake up to the moment you fall asleep? Dominantly. What internal dialogues are you now engaged in? From what foundation? You can clearly see where your emphasis is still if you're chatting to yourself. Neville writes in chapter 3 of Out of This World that I spent hours picturing myself to be someone else, acting as my reason and sense demanded, until the imagined states were so clear as reality that passers-by merely existed in my head and behaved as I would have them. He guided their actions and the conversation they had while together, while I was identified with my imagined state. He continued to imagine for hours and hours with his attention set on the imagined situation, and his emphasis was on the conclusion. He was ignoring the fact that his circumstances at the time were telling him he couldn't have what he wanted. He wasn't whining. Rather, he was enjoying the fulfillment of his wish. What about you, my friend? You spend your days looking for simple solutions, phrases, and methods rather than visualizing your happy ending. If you look closely, you will see that all the methods and techniques you are looking for are already present to assist you in visualizing your happy ending. But your search is not yet finished. There is no miracle cure. Instead, your thoughts bring your reality into being. You must deliberately focus your attention in the direction of realizing your wish if you want to achieve it. Even if you are only speaking to yourself internally or having inner discussions, you are still engaging in imaginative activity. When you blame someone, curse at someone, or complain to someone, you are using your imagination. You may believe that no one is listening to you because you believe that this is happening only inside of you. But you are not alone. Your inner God is listening to you. Your points of contention are materializing in this concrete reality and taking shape out of nothing. These discussions are all with your old self, who is speaking from the standpoint of unmet desire. Pause for a second and speak as your new self, who possesses your desire, would. Speaking from the standpoint of someone who has already achieved his goals for the day is known as speaking from a position of desire fulfillment. You will be one step closer to finding fulfillment if you sit quietly for even 5 minutes and engage in the most wonderful internal dialogue. If you stay committed, nothing in this world can stop it from happening since you are already in heaven. It fulfills all of your desires, whether you wish to mend a buddy, some relationships, or your finances. For situations where you wish to focus your imagination on a certain person, bring them before your eyes and pay attention to their voice. Hear people praising you and telling you how beautiful you are. You can hear them telling you that you are the most important person. Use it regularly all day long. You have control over the thoughts you have inside. You are a living creature, and being human implies that you have the ability to be anyone. You can pick your experiences and thoughts, give them significance, and bring to mind someone you wish to perceive in a different light, and communicate with them as though they are already that person. You will become aware that you are a creature of habit when you begin these inner dialogues, and that you have a habit to break. And such behavior is bad internal dialogue. You engage in this negative dialogue 1,000 times per day because of unmet desire. Stop defending yourself and start talking about the status of a request being fulfilled. Spend your valuable time in great conversations that explain why you can have whatever you want rather than wasting it. Come back if you notice that you are having a poor conversation. Avoid berating or condemning yourself. Bring your internal dialogue back to your objective. Discuss these topics in light of your satisfied desires. Man has no notion what his inner discussions are all day and all night, and nothing in the world can prevent you from fulfilling your objective. If you consistently have these internal dialogues, you always chatter, you can't help yourself. Watch how you talk to yourself in private. Don't wait a second longer. As soon as you realize something isn't right, stop playing it and put on a new record. Play the new record. And as you do, use your conscious assumptions to decide the nature of the universe you inhabit in. Ignore the situation as it is and assume your request has been granted, and then declare that the record will react. Every hour of your life can be spent living out your desires thanks to the law of assumption. You are assuming a feeling whether consciously or unconsciously. You cannot resist assuming a feeling any more than you can avoid eating and drinking. All you have power over is how you choose to make assumptions. Thus, it is obvious that the key you currently possess to an ever-expanding, happier, more noble life is the management of your assumption. Don't worry about the outcome. It will happen as certain as day follows night. Have faith in this planting until you see clear evidence to the contrary. Your trust in this process will be rewarded with huge benefits. You wait only briefly in the awareness of the desired thing. And then, unexpectedly, the thing felt becomes your expression. No one can prevent it from manifesting if you perform this one action correctly for an entire day. You must be honest with yourself in order to achieve this. We all have inner dialogues every day, and this little activity has been going on inside of you for a very long time. It starts the moment you wake up, even if you are not seeing anyone. You had never before noticed it, but you just won't shut up. You may make these dialogues with yourself, which you do even in your dreams, more uplifting. In his presentation, Neville informs us that someone once remarked that if you tried anything for 3 minutes, your entire world would change. Well, maybe you would. I'll argue that if you tried it for a day, you would become fully conscious of what you're saying inside and alter it to fit the wish that was granted for that day. There is no power I am aware of in this universe that could prevent that tree from producing exactly what you want. Actually, you couldn't. Yes, if you engage in these inner dialogues under the presumption that your wishes have been granted, even for just one day, nothing can stop it. But have you given it a shot? Have you ever attempted to spend 30 minutes each day having inner dialogues, rather than claiming to have done it, but that nothing has happened? Ask yourself, from whence are you talking? With honesty. It is quite simple to observe that if you are complaining, fighting, or blaming someone inside of you, your inner talks are founded on unmet desires. Are you speaking from a position of unfulfilled desire? When your desires are satisfied, you don't point the finger or whine about anyone because you are content inside. Nobody requires you to demonstrate anything to them. Enjoy your life as it is. Neville shared with us in this lecture information that I personally, in my journey of manifestation, haven't seen many YouTubers discuss. Although I watch numerous videos every day, I was unaware of this point. I'm quoting from the lecture in this case. It must evoke a particular emotion in me if I do it and believe it to be true. For a thought to function, it must produce a motor element. Otherwise, it is just a notion. The story must become emotionally charged. What would be a motor element now? A chuckle or a tear would be a motor element. In the end, Peter broke down in tears due to his emotions. So if I could sit quietly, pay close attention, and pretend to hear only what I want to hear, and it made me smile, that would be a motor aspect.